Hey there, YouTube coin community. It's Dustin with CoinOp, and today we are going to take a look at Indian Head Cent double dies. So let's dive right on in. Alright, for this video, we are going to be in the PCGS price guide, and we are going to go to Indian Cent. We're going to go to the Indian Head Cents. So for this one, we are going to take a look at some of the double dies. Now, this is going to be more of the popular double dies. There are others. I strongly suggest, if you enjoy the Indian Head Cent series, to go and study and look at some of the other double dies that do exist for the series. There is just a lot of really great varieties in the Indian Head Cent series. So, strongly suggest just looking into that. But we're going to start this off with the 1862 double die reverse. Now this one is the, if you're going by the snow varieties, this would be listed as Snow 5, but otherwise it's listed as FS 801. Okay, so we are taking a look at the 1862 double die reverse. This is listed as FS 801. Right here is a PCGS graded example, graded VF 30. If we take a look down here at the bottom, right inside here, you can see some of the doubling. You can see it on the arrow tip right here. You can see it right inside here on the ribbon. This would be the double die reverse. Now this one, there's not very many examples of this one out there. Now, if you are lucky enough to find an 1862 double die reverse listed as FS 801 in circulated grades and a fine 12, in a fine condition, they start out around $250 and they trade in an AU at around $925, while uncirculated examples, they start out at around $1,100 and they can trade upwards of $1,750. Okay, next we are going to move on to my absolute favorite double die. This is by far my favorite. I do have a few examples of my own, just unfortunately mine are low grade. I cannot afford a higher end grade, and I'd like to try and cherry pick one. And I know the higher the grade, the tougher it's going to be, but I love the 1873 Closed 3 Double Liberty. Now this one is listed as FS 101. If you go by the snow varieties, it's Snow 1. But we're going to take a look at one of these right now. Now this is a PCGS graded example. This one's graded AU 58 plus. And if you look right there on the headband, you can see very, very strong doubling. Let me click on this. You can see very strong doubling right up here in the headband. Very clear line separation. You can see it down on the mouth, the nose, on the eye. Now on these examples, it's going to have a broken D. The E down here usually has a little weird tilt. You're also going to have a broken E right up in here. You can always find that broken E. And then down in the date, this is a die crack that runs through the date. So those are some nice die markers for this one. And here is a close-up of one that PCGS has. If you look, you can strongly see that strong doubling right there in the eye, the nose. It's just a very beautiful double die. Now, if you are lucky enough to find one of these bad boys in a fine 12 and an F12, they start out around $850. In an AU 50, they trade for around $3,900. Uncirculated, they start out at around $8,000 and trade upwards of $60,000. $60,000 for one of these examples. Here is a very nice high-grade example right here. This is a red-brown example. Again, you can see that broken D. See the little weird tilt on the E. There's the die crack runs through the date. The die crack that runs right through here. This is an earlier stage, but you can still see it right through there. Strong doubling on the mouth and nose. On the eye, you can see it, of course, right there. You can see it in the feathers. Very strong doubling in the feathers. This is an amazing, beautiful double die. I love this double die. By far my favorite. So if you're lucky enough to find one of these in a nice high-grade red, they are known to trade over $60,000. Here's an example that in 2005 sold for $69,000 in an MS65 red-brown holder. Jeez. Okay, we are going to move on to an 1887 double die of Verse. Now, this one that we're going to take a look at is listed as FS101. Now, on this one, you can see the doubling the strongest, more so on the right side of the coin, especially in the word America. If you look right here along America, you can clearly see it. It's a nice, strong double. Look at the split, how far the split is on the E. You can see it on the M, the A. You can see it on of. A little bit on the chin and neck. Much weaker on the left side of the coin, but there is some minor doubling over here. But it is by far the strongest on the right side of the coin, and in particular, you are going to want to pay attention to the words of and America. Of America. That's where you're going to see it the strongest. Now, if you do happen to find one of these in a fine 12, they start out at around $135. In an AU50, they trade for around $750. While uncirculated examples, they start out at around $1,100. And they can trade all the way up to, it's like $2,500 for a nice high-grade example. Okay, next we are going to take a look at an 1889 double die reverse. Now this one is listed as FS801, also listed as Snow 1. And there are a couple different double dies, a few varieties for this year. We are going to pay attention and stay focused on the FS801. Now the FS801 has some strong doubling. Now it's weaker on the words 1 cent. I zoomed in on it. It's weaker on the words 1 cent. You can barely see it down on the bottom portion of the coin, but on the upper half of the coin is where you're going to see it the strongest. You can see it on the laurel leaves on both sides, and you're going to see it very strong on the shield. But even looking at the words 1 cent, if you look at the C, you can see some line separation down on the bottom of the E, bottom of the N. You can see it right there on the T, little splits. Stronger on 1, but when you get up here and you pay attention to the laurel leaves, look at how strong that doubling is. Much stronger. You can see it definitely real strong. Starting over here on laurel, coming on up. Look at the shield. That shield is very strongly doubled. And again, you can see it all the way down here on the laurel leaves. So that is a nice, beautiful, strong double die. Now, if you do happen to find one of these in a fine 12, they start out at around $75. And in an AU50, they trade for around $260. While uncirculated examples, they start out at around $400. And it looks like they can trade upwards of $1,000 for a nice high-grade example. Okay, we are going to move on, and we are going to take a look at an 1891 double die adverse. Now, this one's listed as FS101, which is also a Snow 1 variety. So we're going to take a look at this one. The PCGS is a nice, beautiful, uncirculated example right here. Now, if you take a look at this one, you are going to want to pay attention to the word Liberty. You can see doubling on Liberty. You can see it a little bit on the chin and neck, but if you take a look at the tops of the feathers, you can see doubling. And then if you come over to the upper portion of America, you can see it on the A, the M. You can definitely see it on of. You can see nice line separation. On the left side of the coin, though, especially on the word states, very nice, strong doubling on the word states, especially on the S, the E, and the T. But it's much weaker down on United. You don't see it at all down really here. You can see it a little bit on the profile, more so in the word liberty and on the head and the word States of America. Now, if you do happen to find an 1891 double die obverse, these start out in a fine 12 for around $60, and in an AU50 they trade for around $325, while uncirculated examples, they start out around $450, and they can trade upwards of $2,000 for a nice high-grade example. So there you go. There are some beautiful double die Indian head cent varieties for you to go through your Indian head cents and take a look and see if you might have one of these absolutely stunning, beautiful double dies. Just a heads up, YouTube coin community, Art Ring from the RPM group on Facebook and in conjunction with CoinOp has put out a limited edition 1960D repunched mint mark RPM 1 commemorative pin. Now this pin, there's only 30 of them that are being put out. These are made in a copper coated zinc, just like the 1982 Lincoln cents until current. So this pin all around commemorates the repunched mint marks, the Lincoln cent. It's just an amazing, awesome pin. And the only way for you to get your hands on one of these limited edition pins is to tune in to Robert Lawson's auctions starting the 29th of April and continuing for the next 2 weeks. So tune on into those auctions, get your hands on one of these amazing 1960D RPM group pins. Well, there you go. We definitely hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments which one of these double dies you would like in your collection. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you are not yet subscribed to our channel, click on that subscribe button, and while you are at it, click on the notification bell. That way you get notified immediately when we upload new content. Well, everyone, until next time, have fun.